Okay, so this is going to be a raw video of me going over and explaining how the seller carryback transaction works, the seller carryback method works, the numbers, the structure, what happens during escrow, why a seller would do it, how to pitch it to the seller, and why do it, right? And again, this is going to be a raw video. It's going to be ugly, but there are not going to be cuts. I'm not going to edit this video. But if you really want to understand how it works, I mean, just watch it until the end. I'm sure that after watching this video, you will 100% understand how this works. And also, you can understand how we can partner up together. Okay, so the seller carryback method is a really powerful way for the buyer to buy houses, and also for the seller, because on a seller carryback method, you will give the seller way more money in their pocket than a traditional transaction. Okay, so again, in this transaction, as the buyer, they can buy houses with little to no money down, or even get paid to buy a house, right? Sounds too good to be true. Well, it is. Okay, and this is not something new. This is something that a lot of people are doing already because of the high interest rates as of today. So yeah, but not a lot of people know about this, so which is cool at the same time. So let's go over it together. I'm gonna pull my iPad. Okay, so let's go over the seller carryback method. Again, this is gonna be slow, but the way that I want to start is I want to explain first what a traditional transaction looks like, and I think it's gonna be easier for you to understand or to compare traditional transaction with a seller carryback transaction. Okay, so seller carryback, we have it here. Let's go first. What happens on a traditional transaction, right? Traditional sale, conventional sale. Okay, so we have the seller, as always. I like to draw this, make it visual. Here is you. Let's talk about as if you are the buyer, right? Here is the buyer. Here is you, and you are looking at this house. And let's say that this seller is asking 500,000 for the house. This is retail. This is like everybody's coming in at 400,000, 350. I don't know if they were to do a traditional transaction, but for some reason you buy it. Again, since it's a traditional transaction, you buy it for $500,000. Now, let's say that this seller still has a loan for 250 mortgage. So I want to talk about equity. So in this situation, this seller has equity of 250. Okay. This is the purchase price. I'm gonna put it like this, PP. And I mean, I know that there are closing costs involved and all of that, but just to make it easier with the numbers, that is just the difference between the purchase price and whatever it's owed on the house. Okay, so 250 in equity. Now, you as a buyer, this is the seller situation. Seller's situation. I think, oh shoot, I have my video in there, but it's okay. Seller situation now, as the buyer, how would you buy this house? Let's say, for example, you get a DSCR loan, right? Normally on a DSCR loan, you're gonna get offered multiple terms, right? It can be 75% LTV, 80% LTV. But to make it easier this time and with the numbers and everything, let's say that the DSCR loan lender gives you a loan for 80% LTV. This means that this is based on the purchase price, okay? So you will get a loan for $400,000. Okay, cool there. Now, for you to show that you have a skin in the game and to fulfill the requirements from the lender, you gotta come up with the difference, which is the down payment, which is 20% down payment. What is 20% of the down payment? That is $100,000. Okay, so this is what happens. Okay, this is the seller. Here is you as a buyer. This seller has the loan for 250. Remember the mortgage for 250, and so this seller mortgage, I'm gonna put it like this, and equity of 250. Okay, so on a normal transaction, this gets paid off from this loan, from the DSCR loan. Remember, $400,000, and of course, since you are bringing the $100,000 for the down payment. Okay, So in this situation, this gets paid off, of course, and the seller gets in their pocket, in his or her pocket, the remaining equity, which is 250K. Okay, cool. Now, what is the problem? You have two options, right? You can either pay the down payment yourself, okay, yourself from your savings, from your W-2, I don't know. You pay it yourself, you pay it as a buyer, or you can bring a private money lender, okay? Bring a private money lender or private money partner, okay? This is like traditional transactions 101, how to buy houses without using your own money. I mean, you can bring a private money partner, okay? That is option one. I think this is pretty clear on how a traditional transaction looks like. You get a loan, you bring your down payment, and that's it. The seller gets paid the difference, you know. This equity is what the seller gets in his or her pocket after paying all the fees and after paying all the whatever is owed on the house. But to make it easier, she gets the 250 at closing. So that is as far as a traditional transaction, okay? Now let's move on with, I'm gonna make it seller carryback with this color, okay? Seller carryback situation. Now, let's pretend everything looks the same. Again, purchase price is $500,000. The seller owes still $250 on the mortgage. Okay. So this is really important. The equity again is $250,000 of equity. Now, in this situation, you still get the DSCR loan at 80% LTV. You still need to bring the down payment for $100,000. Okay, everything is there. You let the seller know that, hey, you will bring a DSCR loan. But what I want you to say, you as the buyer or investor, right, or agent, you can be like, hey, here is the pitch. And again, everyone is going to be better even than me on negotiating seller finance. But this is a way that you can say it and you can go with the seller and have a conversation about this. So here is the pitch. This is really important, okay? This is really cool. You can go with the seller and you can be like, hey, since you want your price, right? You want $500,000 for this house. Everybody is coming in at $400,000, $350,000, I don't know. They are giving you lowball offers. So since we're having a conversation about giving you the full asking price, I am open to coming in at the $500,000. Hey, but would you be open? This is not how I would say it, by the way, but I just get excited. But hey, would you be open, since I'm coming in at the full asking price, of giving me terms in return? And they're gonna be like, hey, what are terms? Or you know, what do you mean? Hey, would you be open to, hey, I come in at the 500,000. Okay. I bring my loan, okay, at 500,000. I bring my DSCR loan. I'm gonna write it here so it's visual. The DSCR loan, you know, to come in at the full asking price of 500,000. But I would like something in exchange. So would you be open to, out of your 250,000 of equity, let's go back to the equity. Would you be open to receiving $100,000 at closing, cash to seller at closing, and the remaining $150,000 from the equity in payments or seller finance, okay? Remaining 150K in payments, you know, this means, or seller carryback, seller finance. This is where the name of the transaction comes from, right? Seller carryback, seller finance, however you want to pitch it to the seller or agent. Okay. Now this is where the terms conversation comes, right? This is where you have your skills to negotiate with the seller, because you can structure the seller finance portion however you want, right? how much is the seller going to receive every month. If there is an interest rate involved, maybe you can say, hey, 0% interest rate because I'm giving you the full asking price of the house, so I'm already underwater, right? You can come up with your ways to explain it to the seller. Length of time, and there are 4 things to terms. Okay, is down payment, which this is on this transaction and in this situation, it's the cash to seller at closing. So down payment, cash to seller at closing. Interest rate, 3 monthly payment, and length of time. Okay, length of time. This is what terms means, and this is what the structure that you do on the seller carryback. Now, you as the buyer need to make sure to do this transaction. I mean, I don't know what your exit strategy is going to be, the type of rental that you're going to do, but you need to make sure that you cash flow after paying the monthly payment with the DSCR, with taxes and insurance, the PITI, and the monthly payment to the seller if you whatever you agree to do with the seller carryback. There are really good negotiators out there that they even like negotiate no payments to the seller on their equity. I mean, I don't know. Again, there are 100 ways that you can structure the seller finance. I don't want to make it that long, okay? But all I want to say is you can structure the seller carryback however you want. Now, let's say, for example, to go back here, let's go back to the numbers, okay? Again, purchase price, $500,000. Equity is from the seller is $250,000, okay? And the seller agrees to receive this. Again, can be structured however you want. It can be $50,000, $100,000, $150,000. Cash to seller, okay, $100,000. And then seller carry on the remaining equity, which is $150,000. So this is what is going to happen. Let's say that you already agree with the seller to do this. Everything looks good. You get the seller on their contract. Now here is the part that you are missing, and this is the part that we can partner up. Remaining on the DSCR loan, the loan amount is gonna be $400,000. Okay, and you need to bring a down payment of $100,000. Okay, so I can bring the down payment for you, okay, as a transactional lender. Okay, now this DSCR loan, this is what is going to happen at the title company. Okay, DSCR loan for $400,000. This is going to pay off, this amount is going to pay off the mortgage, okay, which is in this example $250,000, and it's going to pay the seller, $100,000. So what is this? This is $350,000. Now, as you can see, the loan was for $400,000, okay, and you have paid only $350,000 out of the $400,000. Where does that money go, right? From the remaining money, it goes to you, to the buyer. This is the part where it's really powerful, because this money goes to you. Okay. Now, of course, there is a $50K in difference between the 400,000 and 350. And of course, I get paid my fee out of this. Okay. I'm not going to talk about my fee right now, but that is a conversation we can have once you get it under contract. There are 2 options that you will have depending on how experienced you are about this, or if you are doing this for the first time. This is a conversation that we will have. Okay. Now, do you have to know all the details on how this works, right? Hey, what about the lender? What about the title company about this? This is where I can come in. Not only I can provide the down payment for you, but I can help you with the following. I have it in here. Give me just 1 second. I have it in here. So option number one, this is how we can partner up, okay? Option number one. Now, I don't know if this already makes sense. That's it. The transaction, that's it. Like, as far as explaining how the transaction works, I already told you. Like, it's all about having that conversation with the seller. You gotta be really good at talking about this topic. It's about partnering with the seller as well. Everybody needs to be at the same on the same page. But once everything's done, like it's done. Like that's how you get paid. I don't know what else to say. That's all as far as how the transaction works. Right now, I'm gonna go over how I can help depending on your experience. So option number one, I can help you with this. I can help you with the seller carry note creation. The seller carryback portion is going to be a second position, and that is going to happen on the second leg of the transaction. So to explain this part, because a lot of people get confused, on the first leg of the transaction, like first close, to say it that way, we just need to satisfy the lender. We need to show that the down payment is there in escrow. The lender is happy. The lender is gone. And now the seller carryback and everything that we agreed with the seller as far as the seller carryback portion and all of that, that happens on the second leg of the transaction, okay? But the lender doesn't have to do any about this anymore. Like it's done, it's over, right? This happens on the second leg of the transaction. It happens in escrow, in everything. Now, that second part, there is if you work with me, there is an attorney that we will have to go through that help us with these type of transactions, okay? And what is cool is that we already have a process in place, and we already have the attorney, we have the lenders that we work with, so we can have because the reason a lot of deals fall apart is because they do part of the process or communication with the title company or the lender, they do it wrong. So that is also a bonus of working with me, is because we have a process to do this transaction, so the success rate is 99% success rate, okay? So option number one, I can help you with I'm not gonna write them down, okay? It's gonna be fully drafted security documents, the seller carryback note creation, facilitate the second closing with attorney, as I mentioned, transactional funding, the down payment, access to our nationwide lender list. Option number two, everything from option number one, okay? Option two, I'm gonna mention them here so it doesn't take that long. Transaction coordination, that we take care, the team takes care of the paperwork and everything. LLC and contract creation and structuring. Sometimes, depending on the lender, they have certain lending requirements to this type of transaction. It's gonna be needed to do an LLC and contract creation and structuring. Okay, so this is where we can come in and help you with this. So full lender communication and sourcing, all title communication handled. Okay, so this is more like if you are doing this for the first time, I would suggest to go to option number two. And option number one is like if you already have a team in place and you have done this before. Okay, if you send me a DM on Instagram, I can tell you about the rates and also again how this transaction works, like more in detail. But I will do that until, like, I don't want hypotheticals. I will do this until you have a deal under contract, right? Or you are pretty close to have something under contract, okay? So that is pretty much it as far as how this transaction works. I feel I have done a YouTube video about this. Maybe the only thing that I don't mention is like how to pitch it to seller. Why would a seller do this? And then also like I'm giving you more detail this time as far as like the escrow process or like the title company. Like I didn't mention that on the first video about Seller Carry, but hey, this is the raw video of me explaining this. I hope this helps you, and let me know your thoughts. Let me know in your comments what do you think, what are your questions, and if anything, just reach out to me, send me a DM on Instagram, and we can chat there. Okay, so that is all, and I will see you on the next video. I hope we can do many deals together, and I will see you on the next video. Okay.